purchase a new sewing machine, it's really important to play with the different stitches, with the different things that it has on it, because it can really save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration. And you can also take some classes. If you purchased your machine at a sewing retailer, sometimes they offer a free class for you to get to know your sewing machine, and so I strongly encourage you to take them up on it. If you purchased your machine at a big box store, you can also go to the sewing retailer and take a class. I think you might have to pay a little bit for it, but I would strongly encourage you to do that. And one of the reasons why I encourage you to do that is because they'll go through the different stitches that your machine has. So I have a machine that has a lot of stitches, a lot of buttons, and it was a little bit intimidating to me at the beginning, and so I found the class really helpful for me, and I made a binder of the different handouts that were given to me and the different stitches that we went through. And we actually did the stitches in the class, and we wrote out and we stapled the little swatches, if you will, to the pieces of paper. So we worked with elastic, we worked with knit fabrics, we did some smocking. And smocking isn't something that I would normally do, but it was really neat to do it with somebody by my side and kind of take that fear away from it for me. So as you can see, and we worked with a knit fabric, so t-shirt material. We also touched on buttonholes, and these can be intimidating to some people as well, but it was really, especially this one. But now I feel comfortable in doing it, and I have no problems. We talked about the button stitch. And this is one thing that I wanted to show you as well. My machine does this wonderful stitch, and I've used this on a couple of my quilt edges. Had I not played with this stitch and I went to use it on a small project, I would have been pretty surprised. Because as you can see, it is quite large. And my machine also, it'll sew to the side and then up, and I don't have to actually turn my fabric. It's all, I can do it with a touch of my finger on the screen. And so had I not taken my class, I wouldn't have known that. And so it will go to the side, up, and then on the diagonal as well, and backwards and to the side again. And it also will start at the normal size, and it can taper down and curve. So, I mean, who knew that? So, and in these classes, they also give you some handouts that you probably wouldn't necessarily say research on the internet, say, because you wouldn't really know to look for these things. But they talk about threads. They talk about threads that shed a lot. Some threads aren't as good as others. Some can dirty your machine up easier, quicker. So I learned a lot about threads, and I learned a lot about needles, what needles to use on knits and silks and cottons. And so as you can see, there's a lot of different things that you can learn from just taking a quick little class. And I wanted to show you a few little stitches and what you can do for yourself at home if you say don't have a sewing machine retailer close by. You can just make your own little swatch on your own at home, just simply by pushing some buttons and playing and not messing up a project or doing anything like that. You can just discover something about your machine and play, and maybe just have something that you want to use on all your projects. So this one made a flower motif, and I wanted to show you this one because this one's a really big one as well, just like that swirl. So you won't want to, you'll just kind of want to lightly guide your fabric, because you'll find that your fabric will travel quite a ways with some stitches, as you'll see here. And that's why it's important to play, because like I said, that big stitch, I would have been very shocked had I used it on a small project. So on some machines, they'll actually show you a little grid on the screen if you have a screen on your machine, and it'll kind of show you how big your stitch will be. But even that sometimes can be a little bit deceiving. So I encourage you to just play and kind of get to know your machine that way, and then start creating something fun.